And then you have two you guys can't even see what I'm doing right now. Okay, maybe I need to start that over because who knows what the hell y'all just saw. Okay. Hey Savage fam! I've noticed that there's not a whole lot of basic or beginner makeup tutorials out there. Like if someone's starting out and they really have no idea what they're doing, some of these videos can be a little bit hardcore with the level of skill that they use. These are all the brushes you really need. If you had these fire in the hole. Six brushes is all you really need to do almost any eye look. When you get a little bit more skilled and you want to start trying some new things, you might need to add in a few more. But honestly, you need a big fluffy brush. This is probably the most important brush you would need. A big fluffy brush. I'll go over these later in the video, so don't like write this down. Don't sit down. You don't need a snack. You don't need paper. I'm just gonna go over them real quick. You need a big fluffy. You need a little fluffy. And then you need a pencil brush. I have two in here, one's big, one's small. You really only need one, but it's nice to have a few because I use multiple ones in multiple looks. And then a flat brush like this. This is good to get under your eyes, or if you want to line your eyebrows with concealer or whatever you want to do. And then a flat brush, a flat shadow brush. This is good again for lining under your eyebrows with concealer or packing shadow onto the lid. So you definitely need one of these. And I guess you could honestly get by with just these three: a big fluffy, a pencil, and a packer. But I would suggest adding a medium fluffy too, or smaller fluffy, so you can blend more than one color, because you can't blend darker colors with your big fluffy. You want a little fluffy and a big fluffy. If you're just getting into makeup, this is gonna be a great video for you. I hope. There are some times where I would look down and my camera was not recording anymore. So I had to re-record some parts, which if you know in the makeup world, it's kind of hard to redo something you just did. So I kind of had to pretend like I was doing it, but I told you I was pretending because I don't think that you guys are stupid. I'm not trying to pull one over on you, but that did happen a few times. So I don't know, I haven't edited this video yet, so we'll see. So the first brush that everybody should have, this is the Morphe E22. This is a blending brush and it's very fluffy and nice and big, so we are going to use this for our transition shade. That's generally, I wouldn't say the first color you always put down, but I like to put down my transition shade first. It's the color that goes in the middle here. It's not too dark, it's not too light, and it's going to be the perfect transition between your dark and your light colors. You can use it, so if you put in a dark color and you realize that maybe it's way too dark or you use way too much product, so you can just use that to kind of buff or blend that color out if that happens to you. So your transition shade, like I said, is going to be something not too dark and not too light. I like to use my Anastasia Modern Romance palette. Modern Romance. I mean, it's so romantic looking. The Modern Renaissance palette. Because it has this palette, if you do not have this palette in your life, what is wrong with you? Why aren't you listening to me? Go buy it right now. Go buy it. It's expensive, I know, but trust me, it's worth it. First, you want to prime your eyes. You can use a primer. They make special eyeshadow primers. I just like to use concealer for my primer because I already used concealer anyway, so I already have that product, you know? And I don't want to go and buy anything extra when it's not really necessary, in my opinion. So priming your eyes is going to hide any imperfections, like if you have veiny eyelids or discoloration, it's going to create a clean, flat canvas to work with, so that way all the colors and all the pigments and everything will blend really easily. They'll go over seamlessly because we have that base down, or if you didn't have that base, your brush could get stuck. Now your brush is going to have a really easy time to just glide over smoothly. The concealer slash primer is also going to help your shadow to stick and last longer, and we all know that we want that. So I want you to know that you can also use your bronzer. I don't know, I had already done this, but I don't know if my camera stopped, so that's why I already have some on my eye. But I'm gonna re-record this just in case it stopped on me. So what I did was I just layered bronzer, Tarte's Park Ave Princess bronzer, in my crease on the other side, because I wanted y'all to see that you don't really necessarily need eyeshadow, and it's not really that important what color it is. It just needs to be a little bit darker than your natural skin color. And you pop it right here in the middle, back and forth, dragging it slightly up, and just keep going until there's no harsh lines. And then you layer, and you layer. You could stop here though, that's the beauty of it. You could layer some of the shimmer, or the matte shade, the matte tempera right there, a vanilla shade, and then put a shimmer up here, pop on a little mascara, and you have simple, natural, ready to go. But let's add a few more layers, of course. So that was the basic. I'm gonna put a little bit of that raw sienna on the other side so they're even now. That way, if I show you different techniques, I wanna show you each technique on the same, you know, intensity of color and everything like that. I'm gonna try to make it as professional as possible. Alrighty, so moving along, now you could stop here and this would be fine, but I am not here to teach you how to be fine. I am here to teach you how to be amazing! So let's move on to another shade. Now, I feel like I pretty much do this look every day, but that's why it's so easy for me to teach it to you. I'm gonna take this red ochre color, my favorite, I can't even help myself, and I'm taking the Morphe M433 brush. And what I love about this brush is it kind of comes to like a point. So the brushes on the outside are shorter, and then the brushes that are like coming up through the middle are longer. So it's tapered on the end. I could have just said it was tapered on the end. I didn't have to explain all the rest of that. So this allows for us to get a little bit more of a precise application, and we can get this right into the crease right there. And it won't blend it all over the place, but it's still fluffy enough to blend. And I'll kind of explain what I mean by that when we're doing another layer. So I dip this in red ochre. Some people do this if they don't want to be a blower. And then I'll apply that in our crease. So I like to always put it in my crease first, no matter what. You want to make sure that it's going to blend very well. But then we're going to create our own crease, and we're going to bring this color up, because if you have hooded eyes, when you're looking straight forward, you don't see a whole lot of your lid, if at all. Most of my lid space is gone when I'm looking straight ahead. That makes eyeliner application a bitch, because you don't want to do a thick band of liner and take up your whole lid space. So when you are applying your makeup, your eyeshadow, you put it in the crease, you keep your eyes open. You can't don't look down and do your makeup. I have a little mirror here that I'm using, and I'm holding it right under the camera so I don't block y'all's view. But you want to look straight forward and then start bringing this color up. So you can make sure that, for one, you see this color when your eyes are open, because your crease goes up into your hood. This is like a hood right here. This meaty part of my brow bone is the hood, and my crease is going up into there when my eyes open. So we put it in the crease and then we bring it up. And we also make sure, like I said, that we're kind of creating our own new crease right there. This just adds more dimension as well. And then I like to go back in with that transition brush and go a little bit over it again. And I didn't put any product on this brush. This is the E22, the first brush we used. No extra product, it just still has a little bit of product left over from when we first used it. And that makes it great to blend. you're still blending with a little bit of product, which just combines everything together and just looks really beautifully blended. What I love about this brush too is because it has a pointy end, you can kind of use it to fine tune things too. You know, like I'm using the point, there's a spot here that's not as blended as I would like. But I don't want to just take this and go because I'm going to move color all over the place. So because it is pointed on the end, I'm able to take the end and kind of the edges and buff things out without spreading color in places I don't want to spread color. And remember, you're going to be putting on mascara, so I know that this looks really weird at first, which is why so many people, I think, have problems putting on, getting shadow to look good, is because you do this and you're like, that looks terrible. Well, trust the process. It's all about layering. You put layer after layer after layer after layer, and then boom, it's magic in the end. Now I'm going to show you how you can stop here, and then we're going to do one more layer on the other eye, so that way you can see multiple things. Now, this is the Morphe G20. It's a flat shadow brush. What I like to do for a simple, natural eye is I take that beautiful vanilla shade right here that I was telling you about and just put it right here on the lid. You could do a darker color too, if you wanted. I like doing lighter colors. I like to keep it a little bit more natural. So I have another flat shadow brush that I got in a kit. I like it because it like comes to a little point. So I'm going to take this Vermeer color, which is a really pretty shimmer. It's not too gold. It's almost like a little, it almost looks lavender. It's like a pastel, kind of pinky. And I'm really careful to just highlight right under the brow bone, especially if you have hooded eyes. You don't want to go too crazy on that because that's going to bring light up there and highlight and accentuate your hood, and you do not want that. Which is why a lot of times after I highlight, I don't know why I highlighted that eye because we were working on this one, but a lot of times I'll take the highlight and put it just right in that crease, and then I will go in with the matte shade and then kind of put it right over the top of that. And then I'm going to take my transition brush, the E22, and kind of blend almost right over the top of that. And it just makes everything seamless. So the next brush that we need to talk about is the Morphe E18. And this is a pencil brush. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a mix between, because I don't want this too dark. So I'm going to mix together this color and I'm going to mix together this maroon color and create my own color. Now I'm going to put this right in the crease, and I am going to be extremely careful not to move it around too much because this guy is dense. He's not a great blender. He can blend a little bit, but he doesn't blend very far. So I'm going to be very careful not to move him around too much and apply him really only where I want him. And then I'm going to go back over with another brush that's fluffier that will take him more places in a prettier way than he would. Does that make sense? Probably not. Okay. Watch and learn, baby. So I apply him right into the crease. And then I'm going to take that, I think I'm going to take the M433, which is the tapered brush, and right over the top of that, I'm going to blend. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that red and put it right over the top. We lost a little bit of pigment, so sometimes you have to add some. It's easier to add than it is to take away. I think that's why makeup takes so long to do. We're just adding until we're happy with it. But that's why I wanted to show you the easy way that doesn't require a lot of blending and a lot of adding. You could just do one layer, one color, or do the two colors, and then when you feel like you're getting a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable, go for the third. But I'm hoping that you can kind of see the difference that makes. I'm going to deepen this up a little bit. And because, again, with the hooded eyes, I'm going to do that brown and that maroon combination one more time. Get it in that crease. But I am going to try to pull it up just a bit, but you have to be careful not to get too crazy. So you look forward, and you just slowly bring it up. And then again, with that tapered blending brush, smooth out those lines. So there you go. Now another fun thing to do is shimmers, of course. I'm spraying a flat brush with Smashbox Primer Water. You can use MAC Fix Plus, you can use water if you need to. I'm setting spray. This just helps to pick up extra pigment on your brush, and it just makes the color payoff outstanding. I'm gonna go in with this Vermeer shade up here because I can't even, maybe I should do gold today. I'm gonna go in with this Primavera shade right here, and I'm gonna apply it right on my lid. Look how pretty that is. And be careful not to get too close to your crease. If you do, no big deal, we can fix it. I always kind of go back in and fix my stuff anyway. After I do that, I like to go in one more time and just make sure that that crease doesn't get any of that shimmer in it, you know. And that is a basic blending technique. Let me go ahead and do my, I'm gonna deepen this other eye and put the shadow on the lid, and then I'll be back and we'll talk bottom lash line. Okay, let's do some bottom lashes. This is the E36. It's a smaller pencil brush. It's smaller than the one that we just used in our crease. You could use the bigger one, and I did for a while, and I had no problems. But I just ordered a smaller one, and I really like it better. But I just wanted you to know that you don't necessarily need 2 pencil brushes. Well, actually, you should have at least 2, but you don't need 3. This just gives me more control of going under my eyes, and because it's a smaller area, I just prefer the smaller one, but I was making it work with the bigger one with the E18. But this is the E36, and I'm going to start with my lighter colors. So this raw sienna that I use for my transition, I'm going to pop that right, I need a mirror. I'm going to pop that right, starting probably right where my lashes actually start. And just doing about the bottom, like middle of my eye. Does that make sense? The bottom middle? Okay. Okay. So, that's all I say. Now I'm going in with red ochre, and I'm going to apply that starting from the middle and all the way to the edge. All the way to the end. This is a Morphe M432. This flat brush is great at really making sure you get shadow close to that lash line. I'm going to take him and I'm going to dip him in this brown, the Cypress Umber. Blow the excess off because this is a really dark color. And I like using this flat brush because you can apply it right up against that lash line. I don't want this to be super noticeable. I just want to darken the outer corner of my eyes. Just like you see, I have more of the dark. My eyes kind of, they're light on the inside, and then they go up and out, and they get darker as they come up and out. Everything is about coming up and out in makeup. So I want the outside to be darker, but I didn't want it to be too obvious. Alright. I just lined my inner waterline, and I don't even know if you guys saw that because I looked down and my camera was off again. So frustrating. Okay. My inner waterline is already, my waterline is already lined, but I'm going to do it again because I think my camera turned off. So I use the Beauty Blender to hold my skin down a little bit to pull my eye open, and then I just take this. This is from Rimmel. No, it's not. This is from Tarte, and it's the inner rim liner. That's what it's called. Ain't that clever? Gone are the days of super heavy dark eyes. If you do dark liner around your eyes, you're gonna make your eyes look really beady and small. You want to open them up, and you want to bring everything kind of out and up. That's why like all the darker shades are on the outside, and everything's kind of coming up. The contours coming up. We're putting light in the middle, and we're putting dark on the ends. And if you don't want to look like me, then that's fine. You do you, boo. You do your makeup however you want to. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong way to do makeup. I'm just showing you how I do my makeup. And then another thing that I think is really important to mention, although we didn't do our brows, when you do your brows, she said doo-doo. This is the Morphe B19. It's just a little concealer brush to clean up your eyebrows with concealer after you draw them on. Even if you don't draw them on, even if you do not draw on, listen to me, this is very important. Even if you do not draw your eyebrows on, line under them with concealer. That cleans them up. It hides any sparse hairs that you're trying to grow out, or if you're in between threading appointments or whatever it is that you do, that will cover up the sparse or the extra brows that are hanging out there, trying to make a living up on your hood. And it just cleans everything up. It'll make your eyebrows look really nice and sharp. It'll create a more fluid movement from lid to brow because you have cleaned everything up. If you just kind of slap shadow on there, this part could look very messy. So just keep that in consideration. Give it a whirl. I've had a few people message me telling me how much they appreciated that advice, which it's not my idea or anything. I'm not trying to take credit for it, but I'm just telling you that like I know stuff. Okay, so this is what I use for my inner corner highlight. Ooh. I like to spray it, and then you just dip it in here. So I'm just going to apply that inner corner highlight right here, and then I'm going to also put it a little bit down in this space where we didn't have any shadow. But when we start, if you remember, we started our color right at our lash line. So I like to kind of highlight this whole area just to really brighten it up. I hope that you found this video useful and that you can put some of those tips to good work. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram. Let me know what else you want to see. Let me know what you think. I'm so happy that you're here. Until then, savages, see you next time, beauties. Mwah!